The mirror of nature, what seasons teach us about patience. Have you ever felt like you are running a race against a clock that has no hands? We live in a world that demands instant results. We want the success now, the healing now, the answer now. We treat our lives like a digital download, getting frustrated when the progress bar stalls. We have become experts at forcing things to happen. But in our rush to arrive, we have forgotten how to grow. We have disconnected ourselves from the oldest teacher we have, the natural world. But what if I told you that your frustration is not a sign of failure, but a misunderstanding of time? Consider the story of a young man named Julian. Julian was a dreamer with a restless heart. He wanted to build something great, something that would change the world. He worked day and night, pushing himself and everyone around him. But after a year of intense labor, his project seemed to have hit a wall. Nothing was moving. The growth had stopped. Julian felt a deep, biting anxiety. He felt like he was failing because he was standing still, driven by a need for answers. Julian visited his grandmother, a woman named Clara, who lived in an ancient apple orchard. He found her sitting on a bench, watching the bare, skeletal branches of the trees swaying in the cold winter wind. "Grandmother," Julian said, his voice thick with frustration, "I am doing everything right. I am working harder than anyone, but nothing is happening. I feel like my life is stuck in a permanent winter. Why is everything so slow?" Clara didn't look at him at first. She reached out and touched the rough, frozen bark of an apple tree. "Julian," she said softly, "do you think this tree is doing nothing right now?" "It looks dead to me," Julian replied. "There are no leaves, no fruit, no sign of life." Clara smiled. "That is because you are looking at the surface. Right now, in the deep silence of the earth, this tree is doing its most important work. It is sending its roots deeper into the soil. It is gathering its strength. It is practicing the discipline of dormancy. If it tried to grow fruit in this cold, the frost would kill it. The tree is not being slow. It is being patient. It is trusting the rhythm of the world. This is the wisdom of the seasons, a core principle in both Stoic and Zen philosophy. We often forget that we are not separate from nature. We are nature, and nature never hurries. Yet everything is accomplished. Our modern anxiety stems from our attempt to live in a perpetual summer, a state of constant blooming and constant harvest. But a life without winter is a life that eventually burns out. Find peace in the waiting. You must first embrace the season of the roots. This is what we call winter in your life. This might look like a period of stagnation, a job loss, or a time of deep reflection. The world tells you that if you aren't producing, you are failing. But the wise man knows that winter is for deepening your character. It is a time for pruning away the habits and beliefs that no longer serve you. Without the stillness of the winter, the strength of the spring cannot exist. Patience is not a passive waiting. It is the active preservation of your inner fire while the world is cold. The second lesson is the fragility of spring. When the first green shoots appear, they are vulnerable. They require protection and steady care. In our lives, these are our new ideas and our early stages of healing. We often kill our own progress by demanding that the sprout become an oak tree overnight. We criticize our early efforts for not being perfect. But nature teaches us that growth is a series of tiny, almost invisible movements. True control is not about forcing the flower to open. It is about providing the right soil and then having the humility to wait. Then comes the discipline of summer. This is the season of intense heat and hard work. But even in summer, there is a rhythm. The sun must set for the plants to rest. If you try to work 24 hours a day, you are violating the natural law. Even the most productive seasons require the balance of stillness. You must learn to work with the sun, not against it. Finally, there is the art of autumn. This is the season of harvest, but it is also the season of letting go. To prepare for the next cycle, the tree must drop its leaves. It must surrender what it worked so hard to grow. We often suffer because we try to hold on to our past successes or our old identities long after their season has passed. We want to keep the leaves, But the tree knows that to keep the leaves is to invite the heavy snow to break its branches. Release is the secret to survival. Clara told Julian, "You are exhausted because you are trying to harvest fruit in the middle of January. You are judging yourself by a season you aren't in. Look at the trees. They don't compare themselves to the flowers of last year. They don't worry about the blossoms of next year. They are simply present in the winter, doing the work that winter requires." Julian stayed in the orchard for 3 days. He watched the wind. He listened to the silence. He realized that his anxiety was a result of his refusal to trust the inevitable change of life. He saw that his stagnation was actually an opportunity to sink his roots deeper into his own values. He returned to the city, but he carried the orchard in his heart. He still worked hard, but he no longer worked with a clenched fist. He learned to move with the seasons of his own soul. As you go through your week, ask yourself, what season am I in right now? If you are in a time of waiting, do not call it a failure. If you are in a time of struggle, do not call it a disaster. Call it a pruning. Patience is the ultimate form of trust. It is the belief that the dawn will come because it has always come. It is the realization that you are part of a vast, intelligent, and beautiful unfolding. You do not need to push the river. The river is already taking you home. Breathe with the trees. Trust the frost, for in the heart of your longest winter, the spring is already dreaming of you, and it will arrive exactly when it is meant to.